There is a new survey out that says we could be fooling ourselves when it comes to eating healthfully. Most of us are miscalculating our servings. We don't really know what a portion size looks like. So today we're going to make it easy. We're going to use something like a tennis ball or a mouse to show you what you should really be eating every day. Dr. Vandana Bide is an internist at Mayo Clinic here to discuss. Good morning. Nice to have you here again.
Thank you for having me,
So
Staci.
a lot of us think, I'm eating broccoli, I'm eating brown rice, but we're eating too much of all of that stuff.
Exactly, exactly. If you look at studies, our plate sizes have actually increased since the 1970s and especially in the 1990s. So we're eating, your producer gave me this nice plate. We're eating normally out of this size plate, but honestly, we should probably be eating more out of a salad plate. And our portion sizes should probably be smaller than we're used to. And
doesn't it take a while, though, to get used to seeing your food be small? Because when you see a smaller portion, you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to get full on that.
Right, right. But you do. If you eat the right kinds of food and if you eat often enough.
Okay.
Now,
take me through this here.
Sure. Most of the time, when you look at recommendations, things are written in ounces. And of course, we don't really weigh our food, or most of us don't weigh our food, so we don't really have an idea of what the right portion size is. So I think that having commonly used items from our home helps us decide what is the correct portion size. For example, in our dinner plate, we should think of it in quadrants. So half of your dinner plate should actually be vegetables, and then a quarter should be the grains. So here we actually have 2 servings of grains today, and then the meat, and especially if we eat a fatty fish like salmon, which is very healthy for us, have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. We can actually use a checkbook. That's the size, a 3-ounce size of fish can be.
Is that right?
Right,
because
exactly.
this one's a little bit smaller, so I can have a little bit bigger piece.
Exactly. If you're going to have red meat or chicken, then we would have the size of a deck of cards.
Even chicken, a deck of cards.
Right, exactly. So 3 ounces is the most that you would recommend at one time.
Okay. How many of you knew that it should be this small?
Right. And you can think of it also as the size of your palm. That's the other way to remember it.
How about this cassette tape?
So this is our bread size. So we're pretty generous here with our bread today, but it is whole wheat. We want whole grain bread if possible. And then I have a postage stamp here.
I was going to say, are you planning on mailing this to somebody?
Right, exactly. This is how much butter or oils we should be having at a time with a serving. So it's a lot smaller, I think, than the pat of butter than we're used to using.
Talk to me about the tennis ball here.
Tennis ball, of course, is the serving for grains, which is either cooked pasta or cooked rice, which is, I think, smaller than most people are used to.
Yeah.
And then our size for vegetables. And you can have multiple nice, colorful variety of vegetables, but it should be about the size of either a baseball or a tennis ball.
All right. Now, over here, you've got some snacks that a lot of us eat throughout the day.
Right. Again, you use your tennis ball, so the size of an apple or an orange should be about the size of a tennis ball. A handful of almonds, which also have omega-3 fatty acids, so nice and healthy. And then I have 6 dice here because that's the size for a serving of cheese. And I think people
the size of a serving of cheese. I could eat about 20 of those.
I know. So you just have to sort of decide what you're going to eat during the day and judge accordingly. So you can have, this would be a reasonable dinner. Now, if you look here, say, for breakfast, the bagels that we're used to should honestly be probably this size. So the kind that we get at some of the stores are really supersized, and they're anywhere between 300 and 500 calories.
Wow, and that's probably not even with, is that with the cream cheese on it?
No, that's without the cream cheese.
So you're saying that if you get one of these big guys, you should just eat half of it?
Right, that would be considered one serving. Now you can have 3 to 5 servings of grains a day, so if you choose to have all of it with one bagel, then you have less that you can have for your other meals and snacks.
All right, Dr. Bide here to show us what is an appropriate portion size. And I think just the more you do it, the more your mind will get used to what you're supposed to be eating. Thanks, Dr. Bide, for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.